Security gave me 2 minutes to clear out my office. "Why?" I asked. "Upper management decision. You need to leave immediately." I'd worked at this company for 12 years, never had a problem. Yesterday, everything was normal. Now I was being fired. Reason, unreliable and unstable behavior. What did that even mean? As I carried my box out, the phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Harding, Dr. Holloway, you need to come to my office. It's urgent." Dr. Holloway, my therapist. I'd been seeing him for 4 months. For stress, work problems. I'd told him everything. Issues with my boss, company tensions, private thoughts. What happened? I can't discuss this over the phone, but something went very wrong. Very wrong. He hung up. I didn't understand then. But in a few hours, everything would become clear. And then I'd learn that my therapist hadn't just betrayed me. He'd done something much worse. My name is Trevor Harding. I'm 37 years old. I'm a senior executive in Chicago. Or I was. And I just experienced the biggest betrayal of my life. But I didn't know it yet. Let me go back 6 months. I was director of operations at Meridian Tech, a software company, about 300 employees. I'd been there 12 years. Started as a junior project manager. Worked my way up. The job was demanding, but I loved it. Then we got a new CEO, Richard Vaughn, brought in from outside. He had his own vision, his own way of doing things. Started making changes immediately, restructuring departments, replacing senior staff with his own people. It created tension, a lot of tension. I tried to adapt, tried to work with the new systems. But Richard and I clashed. Different management styles, different priorities. He wanted aggressive expansion. I wanted sustainable growth. He thought I was too cautious. I thought he was reckless. The stress started affecting me. I wasn't sleeping well. My wife Emma noticed. "You're different lately. Distracted, irritable. It's just work. It'll pass. Maybe you should talk to someone. A professional." I resisted at first, but the stress kept building. Finally, I looked for a therapist. Found Dr. Martin Holloway online. Good reviews, 20 years experience, specialized in executive stress and workplace issues. Perfect. Our first session was in September. His office was in downtown Chicago. Comfortable, professional, leather chairs, diplomas on the wall. "Tell me what brings you here, Trevor." "Work stress, new CEO. We're not seeing eye to eye." "That's very common in corporate transitions. Tell me more." I did. I told him everything. About Richard. About our disagreements. About how I felt undermined. How I worried I might be pushed out. "These are normal concerns," Dr. Holloway said. "We'll work through them. But I need you to be completely honest with me. This is a safe space. Everything you say here is confidential." I believed him. For 4 months, I saw Dr. Holloway every week. Told him things I didn't tell anyone else, not even Emma. How I really felt about Richard. How I thought his decisions were hurting the company. How I'd considered quitting but needed the salary. How I sometimes fantasized about Richard failing. Just normal frustrated thoughts. The kind everyone has about difficult bosses. Dr. Holloway listened, took notes, offered advice. I thought it was helping. Then in January, everything collapsed. I was called into a meeting with Richard and 2 other executives. They sat across from me, serious faces. "Trevor, we need to discuss some concerns about your performance and stability." My stomach dropped. "What concerns?" "We've received information suggesting you're experiencing significant stress, that you're struggling with decision-making, that you may not be reliable in your current position." "That's not true." Who told you this? That's not relevant. What matters is whether you're fit for this role. I'm absolutely fit. I've been doing this job successfully for years. Richard leaned forward. Trevor, we know you've been having thoughts about the company failing, about wanting leadership to fail. That's not the mindset we need in senior management. I went cold. How did he know that? I'd never said those things to anyone except Dr. Holloway. He'd told them. My therapist had told my boss what I'd said in private sessions. This is based on therapy sessions. Those are confidential, legally protected. We're not discussing how we obtain this information. We're discussing whether you can continue in this role. You can't fire me based on stolen confidential information. We're not firing you. We're placing you on administrative leave pending a full review. They escorted me out that day, said I'd hear from HR. I drove straight to Dr. Holloway's office, burst in without an appointment. He was with another patient. I need to speak with you now. Trevor, I'm in a session. You told my boss what I said in therapy. You violated confidentiality. His face changed. Guilty, caught. We should discuss this privately. You're damn right we should. He finished with his patient, asked her to leave, then closed the door. Trevor, I can explain. You told Richard Vaughn what I said in private sessions, sessions that are legally protected by doctor-patient confidentiality. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. You betrayed my trust. You violated the law. Richard Vaughn contacted me 3 months ago. Said he was concerned about you. Asked if I was treating you. I confirmed you were my patient. That's all. That's already a violation. He said the company needed to know if you were stable, if you could handle your responsibilities. He said if I didn't provide information, they'd remove you and eliminate your severance. I was trying to protect you. By telling him my private thoughts, my frustrations. I only shared what I thought was relevant to your job performance. You had no right, none. He sat down, looked tired suddenly. Trevor, there's something else you should know. What? Richard offered me a consulting position, working with Meridian's executive team on stress management and performance optimization. Everything clicked into place. When did he offer you this? 2 months ago, after you started sharing my information. It's not connected. Of course it's connected. He wanted you to destroy my credibility so I'd be pushed out. And in return, he'd give you a corporate contract worth what? Hundreds of thousands? Dr. Holloway didn't answer. You sold me out for money. That's not how it happened. I was trying to help both the company and you. Get out of my way. I left his office, sat in my car shaking. Not from anger, from shock. A therapist, someone I'd trusted with my deepest concerns, had sold me out to my boss for a consulting contract. I called Emma, told her everything. Oh my God, Trevor. That's not just unethical, it's illegal. Therapists can't disclose patient information without consent. I know. You need to report him. To the licensing board. To the company. To everyone. She was right. But first I needed to understand the full scope of what had happened. I called a lawyer the next morning. His name was Philip Chen, specialized in employment law and medical malpractice. What you're describing is a serious violation of multiple laws, Philip said after I explained. HIPAA, state confidentiality statutes, professional ethics codes. This therapist could lose his license. What about my job? That's trickier. If the company used illegally obtained information to terminate you, that's wrongful termination. But proving it will be difficult. They put me on administrative leave. They haven't fired me yet. That's good. That means we have time. Here's what we're going to do. Philip laid out a strategy. First, file a complaint with the State Psychology Licensing Board. Dr. Holloway had violated fundamental professional standards. Second, request all of my therapy records. I had a legal right to them. See exactly what he'd written and shared. Third, send a cease and desist letter to both Dr. Holloway and Meridian Tech. Put them on notice that we knew about the confidentiality violation. Fourth, prepare for a potential wrongful termination lawsuit. Document everything. Get witnesses. Build a case. This is going to get ugly, Philip warned. Holloway will deny everything. The company will claim they never received confidential information. You'll be fighting both of them. I don't care. They destroyed my career based on lies. Then let's get started. I filed the licensing complaint that day. Detailed everything. The sessions, what I'd discussed, how Holloway had contacted my employer, how he'd received a consulting contract in exchange. The board confirmed receipt. Said they'd investigate. Could take months. I requested my therapy records. By law, Holloway had to provide them within 15 days. While I waited, I started digging into Holloway's background. Found something interesting. This wasn't the first time he'd been accused of ethics violations. 5 years ago, a patient had filed a complaint claiming Holloway had disclosed information to the patient's spouse without consent. The complaint was dismissed due to lack of evidence, but the pattern was there. 2 weeks later, my therapy records arrived. I sat at my kitchen table reading through them. Emma sat next to me. The notes were extensive, detailed, every session documented, and in the margins were extra notes. Patient expressing hostility toward CEO Richard Vaughn. Concerning. Patient admits to fantasizing about company failure under new leadership. Stability concerns. Patient exhibiting signs of workplace paranoia. May not be suitable for high-pressure role. These weren't objective clinical notes. These were crafted to make me look unstable, unreliable, dangerous even. He was building a case against you from the beginning, Emma said, the whole time. But why? What did Richard offer him? I found the answer the next day. Checked Meridian's website. Under Consulting Partners was a new entry. Dr. Martin Holloway, Executive Wellness Consultant, 6-month contract. Estimated value based on similar contracts? $250,000. He'd sold me out for $250,000. Philip filed the cease and desist letters. Meridian responded through their lawyers. Claimed they'd received anonymous concerns about my stability. Never mentioned Dr. Holloway by name. Denied using confidential medical information. Insisted the administrative leave was based on legitimate performance concerns. Dr. Holloway didn't respond at all. 2 weeks later, I got called back to Meridian. Another meeting with Richard and HR. Trevor, we've completed our review. We're prepared to offer you a severance package if you resign voluntarily. I'm not resigning. You placed me on leave based on stolen confidential medical information. Richard's face hardened. We've done no such thing. You met with Dr. Martin Holloway, my therapist. He shared information from our sessions. You then used that information to claim I'm unstable. That's a serious accusation. Do you have proof? I pulled out my therapy records. These are my session notes. Notice the margin comments, designed to make me look unstable. Now look at this. I pulled out a timeline I'd created. Dr. Holloway contacted you 3 months ago. You started meeting with him regularly. 2 months ago, you offered him a consulting contract. 1 month ago, you placed me on administrative leave. The timeline is clear. The HR director shifted uncomfortably. Even if this timeline is accurate, it doesn't prove... It proves conspiracy. It proves you two worked together to push me out using illegally obtained medical information. That's wrongful termination. That's a HIPAA violation. That's multiple lawsuits. Richard stood up. This meeting is over. Our offer stands. Take the severance or we'll terminate you for cause. Do it. Fire me. Because the moment you do, I'm filing suit, and I'm contacting every tech industry publication. They'll love this story. Major CEO conspires with therapist to destroy executive's career, uses stolen medical records, violates federal law. Richard stared at me. You're bluffing. Try me. The meeting ended. No severance, no termination, just limbo. But I'd made my point. They were scared. Philip started preparing the lawsuit. Wrongful termination. Violation of confidentiality. Conspiracy. Emotional distress. We were asking for damages. Lost wages. Punitive penalties. While we prepared, the licensing board completed their investigation of Dr. Holloway. The results came back. Dr. Holloway had violated multiple professional ethics standards. He'd disclosed confidential patient information without consent. He'd engaged in a conflict of interest by accepting a contract from my employer. He'd failed to maintain appropriate boundaries. The board suspended his license for 2 years. He couldn't practice during that time. It was a major victory. But I wanted more. I wanted Meridian to pay. The lawsuit moved forward. Discovery phase. Both sides requesting documents, depositions, building cases. Philip subpoenaed all communications between Richard and Dr. Holloway. Meridian fought it, claimed executive privilege. The judge disagreed. Ordered them to produce the communications. When we got them, it was devastating. For them, emails between Richard and Holloway going back 4 months. The Trevor problem needs to be resolved. Can you help? I believe I can provide information that would support performance concerns. What kind of compensation would you expect? I'd be interested in a consulting arrangement with Meridian. It was all there. The conspiracy, the agreement, the payment. Philip was ecstatic. This is a slam dunk case. They're going to settle. Big. Meridian's lawyers requested a settlement conference. We met at a neutral location. Mediator present. Richard wasn't there. Just lawyers and HR. They opened with an offer. $150,000. Full reinstatement. Non-disclosure agreement. Philip laughed. You're not serious. That's our opening offer. Your CEO conspired with a therapist to violate federal medical privacy laws. Used stolen confidential information to damage my client's career. Caused enormous emotional distress. And you're offering what amounts to 1 year's salary? What do you want? Full back pay for time on leave. 2 years severance, public apology, removal of any negative performance reviews from his record, and Richard Vaughn's resignation. That's completely unreasonable. Then we'll see you in court. And I'll make sure every tech publication knows exactly what Richard did. They caucused, came back an hour later. We can do back pay, 18-month severance, expungement of records. But we can't force the CEO to resign. Then no deal. We walked out. 3 days later, Richard Vaughn announced his resignation, pursuing other opportunities. The board of directors had seen the evidence, realized the liability, forced him out. 2 days after that, Meridian called. New offer, full back pay, 2 years severance, clean record, public statement that I'd been placed on leave due to miscommunication, and procedural errors. No admission of wrongdoing, but enough to clear my name. And one more thing. They were terminating Dr. Holloway's consulting contract. Immediately, Philip advised me to take it. You've won. Holloway lost his license. Richard lost his job. You're getting paid. Take the win. I accepted. The statement went out the next week. I read it online. Meridian Tech regrets the circumstances surrounding Trevor Harding's administrative leave. After thorough review, we've determined the leave was based on incomplete information and procedural errors. Mr. Harding's record has been cleared. We wish him well in his future endeavors. It wasn't a full apology, but it was enough. I didn't want my job back. Not after everything. The company was tainted now. Instead, I took the settlement money. 2 years severance plus back pay. Nearly $400,000. Used it to start my own consulting firm, helping companies develop better corporate wellness programs. Protecting employees from exactly what happened to me. 6 months after the settlement, I got a letter from Dr. Holloway, handwritten. Trevor, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to. What I did was wrong, unethical, illegal. I destroyed your trust and violated everything I'm supposed to stand for as a therapist. I told myself I was helping, that I was protecting the company. But the truth is, I was greedy. I saw the money and I took it. I rationalized it. Convinced myself it was okay. It wasn't. I've lost my license, my practice, my reputation. I deserve all of it. I just wanted you to know that I understand what I did. And I'm sorry. Not because I got caught, because I hurt someone who trusted me. I hope you've been able to rebuild. I hope you're doing well. And I hope someday you can find peace with what happened. Martin Holloway. I read it twice, then threw it away. I didn't need his apology. Didn't want it. What he'd done couldn't be fixed with sorry. A year after everything started, I was sitting in my home office, building my new company. Phone rang. Unknown number. Trevor Harding? Yes? This is Susan Palmer. I'm a journalist with Tech Insider. I'm working on a story about executive wellness programs and workplace mental health. Your name came up. I'd love to talk. What kind of story? About how companies sometimes misuse mental health information. How therapists can be pressured to violate confidentiality. How executives are vulnerable. I thought about it. What do you want to know? We talked for an hour. I told her everything. She published the story 2 weeks later. The Executive Therapy Trap. How one CEO used confidential mental health records to push out a rival. It went viral. Thousands of shares. Other executives reached out. Told me similar stories. Therapists pressured to share information. Companies demanding access to mental health records. It was more common than anyone realized. My consulting business grew. Companies wanted help creating ethical wellness programs, protecting employee privacy, ensuring confidentiality. 2 years after the settlement, Emma and I were having dinner. She brought up Dr. Holloway. Do you ever think about him? Sometimes. Do you regret reporting him? No, he deserved to lose his license. But do you think he's changed? I don't know, and I don't care. That's fair. She paused. I'm proud of you. For fighting back, for not letting them win. They didn't win. But neither did I, really. What do you mean? I lost a job I loved. Lost trust in therapy. Spent a year of my life fighting. That's not winning. But you rebuilt. You created something new. You're helping people. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just trying to make sense of what happened. Either way, you survived. She was right. I had survived. Not unchanged, not unscathed, but survived. My name is Trevor Harding. I'm 39 years old now. I run a corporate wellness consulting firm in Chicago. I help companies protect their employees' privacy, make sure what happened to me doesn't happen to others. Dr. Holloway never practiced therapy again. Last I heard, he was working in hospital administration, away from patients. Richard Vaughn landed at another tech company, smaller, less prestigious, his reputation damaged. And me? I learned that trust is precious, that confidentiality matters, that even professionals sworn to help you can betray you if the price is right. I learned to be more careful, more skeptical, more protective of my private thoughts. Some people would say I became harder, more cynical. Maybe they're right. But I prefer to think I became smarter, more aware, better able to protect myself and others. Because in the end, that's what survival is. Learning from pain, using betrayal as fuel, building something stronger from broken pieces. The therapy trap almost destroyed me. Instead, it made me who I am today. Someone who fights for others. Someone who won't. Stay silent. Someone who survived.